There he sat, in the empty cafe, flooded with the white glow of the moonlight, just visible as if whispering to the remaining few out past the sun's sweet slumber. As the silver crescent hung in the sky, he noticed a woman, nay, a girl, only just developing the feminine curves of womanhood. She left him transfixed, mouth aghast, unable to tear his gaze away. From the slender curve of her nose to a pair of seemingly perpetually pouting lips, she was exquisite. Her eyes were bright diamonds, dancing and laughing in the light of the blinking stars. Her hair the colour of spun straw, cascading down her back like a waterfall of liquid gold glowing in the moonlight. She flitted across the pavement as quiet as the evening itself, her dress fluttering under the silent blanket of night, ringing across the dark streets as if it were the gentle flap of butterfly wings. Enamoured, he thought to himself, she's the one. In that moment the fire was relit from deep within him. The familiar feeling of desire spread throughout, washing over him. It pulsed and twisted through his veins. From his fingertips to his toes, he now knew. The need once again consumed him. As he reached into his jacket pocket, he felt the warm, well-worn wooden handle and ran his finger along the cool silver blade. She is unlike the others, different, he thought. She radiates an angelic energy, and a pure aura, too pure for this obscene, corrupt world. His chest scraped against the ground as he began to follow her. She was intoxicating, all-encompassing, the centre of a small corner of the universe. He listened to the soft padding of her feet on the uneven cobblestone steps. His heart skipped a beat when he caught sight of her. The fire burned brighter, growing and expanding. It highlighted his insatiable craving, making him walk faster. As she walked through the labyrinth of alleyways and streets, she felt the presence of someone behind her and turned to look. When she saw no one, she continued along the path, stepping in time with the chimes of the clock tower's bells. Don't be so paranoid, she thought to herself. No one is behind you. She heard it again, the steady breathing, barely audible, and from a distance away, but nonetheless, it was there. She stopped, her heart beating out of her chest, thrumming deep within its bodily confinement. Adrenaline rushed through her with the force of a raging waterfall as she heard the accompaniment of footsteps. Her heart screeched to a startling halt when she saw a figure emerge from the shadows as black as spilt ink. Her breathing returned when she came into focus. His eyes were kind, swirling pools of chocolate. The tension that hung in cool night air between them was palpable. She waited for him to speak. He swallowed. The fire still burnt, aching within him. A dark veil swept across his face, changing his expression from gentle to callous. His eyes began to shine with the hunger of 1,000 wolves. He lunged, and she screamed about as discreet as a newborn's cry, terror holding her in a vice-like grip. He reached within his jacket once again, but this time brandishing the weapon. As the silver knife tore into her exposed flesh, blood fell from the wound, glittering in the subtle moonlight like drops of scarlet rubies. A red line appeared across her neck, a necklace dripping with pearls of blood. He watched her as her life essence drained, pooling on the uneven stone beneath them. Slowly taking the warmth from her skin and turning it to cold white marble. Her golden threads of hair were stained the colour of fine wine. Pure ecstasy replaced the raw desire in his hardened heart. The gratification enthralled him, the thrill of a job well done. Her eyes glazed, the diamonds no longer sparkling, now dull, but suspended in their permanent catatonic state of realization and horror. He felt the fire extinguished, his hunger satisfied as he watched the sight in front of him. He felt the pressure release, and a single tear escape from his eyes. Now content, he felt the last shiver of her breath escape her lifeless lips. He leant down, kneeling beside her, and gently brushed his lips against hers, but the lips he kissed were now still. He whispered into the silent night air, "The world was not meant for one as beautiful as you." Then stood, brushed the dirt from his pants, and wiped the tear from his cheek. He watched the serenity of the evening pass by, unfazed by what had just unfolded, and slowly walked away. He knew this was enough to quench his impossible thirst for now, but he began to await the next spark to once again ignite his fire. Just then, a crack of thunder boomed across the sky, the deep bass rolling over the silent city, echoing in the darkness. The rain began to fall as if the sky was crying for her, mourning the loss of a sweet soul and the story that could have been. As the teardrops washed away the scent of evil, her blood ran through the alleyway, colouring the ground a red as dark as his blackened heart. This melancholy sight illuminated by the soft moonlight